Have you ever heard of these weird and unique sports that no longer exist? In the grand tapestry of human history, sports have always been a vibrant thread. They've served as a testament to our competitive spirit, our drive for excellence, and our love for the thrill of the game. But just as species evolve over time, so too do our sports. Some survive, adapting and changing to the times, while others, well, they go extinct. Yes, there are sports that have faded into obscurity, lost in the annals of time. From the downright bizarre to the startlingly dangerous, these extinct sports are as fascinating as they are diverse. They offer us a glimpse into our past, a time when our ideas of fun, competition, and entertainment were, let's just say, a bit different. So, are you ready to step into the time capsule with us? Stay tuned as we dive into the first of these fascinating and bizarre extinct sports. Imagine a sport where your objective is to toss a live fox as high as you can. Yes, you heard it right. This may sound like a wild fever dream, but it's a real sport that existed in the 16th and 17th centuries. Known as fox tossing, it was a popular pastime among the European nobility. Here's how it worked. Two players would stand about 20 feet apart, holding a sling between them. A live fox would then be released. The goal? To launch the fox into the air using the sling, aiming for the highest toss. Now, it's important to note that the foxes weren't always the willing participants in this bizarre game. So, what happened to fox tossing? Well, as society developed a greater awareness and respect for animal welfare, the sport began to fall out of favor. Over time, it faded into the annals of history, becoming a strange footnote in the world of sports. It's probably a good thing that this sport is extinct for the sake of the foxes. From tossing foxes, let's dive underwater for our next extinct sport, octopus wrestling. This unusual sport began to make waves, quite literally, in the early 20th century. Specifically in the coastal areas of California. Octopus wrestling involved a diver getting into the water at high tide, and then attempting to wrestle an octopus out of its den. Sounds simple, right? Not quite. The rules were simple, but the execution was anything but. The larger the octopus, the more points the wrestler would earn. The sport's popularity waned in the 1960s, mainly due to concerns for animal rights and protection. Environmentalists and animal rights activists raised their voices against this sport, citing the unnecessary stress and potential harm caused to the octopuses. And so, octopus wrestling faded into obscurity, leaving behind a legacy of man versus nature in its most primal form. It's safe to say that octopus wrestling is one sport that won't be making a comeback anytime soon. Next up, we have a sport that combined the thrill of car racing with the skill of polo, auto polo. Picture this, two teams, each equipped with a driver and a mallet-wielding passenger, careening around a field in stripped-down, early 20th century automobiles. The aim? To drive at high speed and hit a small ball into the opposing team's goal. The sport was both exhilarating and terrifying. With no seatbelts or safety equipment, it was not uncommon to see players thrown from their vehicles during a match. More than just a test of polo skills, auto polo was a showcase of daredevilry and raw courage. Yet despite its thrilling nature, the sport had a short lifespan. The risk of injury was high and the costs of maintaining and repairing the cars proved prohibitive. Auto polo, with its thrilling yet dangerous blend of speed and skill, was a sport that burned brightly, but briefly. With all the risks involved, it's not surprising that auto polo didn't stick around. Last but not least, we have dwyle flonking, a bizarre English pub game. Originating in the Norfolk and Suffolk regions, this eccentric sport was a popular pastime in many a local tavern. The rules are as peculiar as the name suggests. Two teams, the flonkers and the non-flonkers, take turns to spin around a pole. The flonker, armed with a beer-soaked cloth or dwyle, then attempts to hit the opposing team, who hilariously try to dodge the soggy missile. Dwyle flonking was more than just a game. It was a spectacle, a social event that brought together communities in laughter and camaraderie. So why did it fade into obscurity? Well, the sport's inherent silliness combined with the potential for alcohol-fueled injury led to it being deemed inappropriate and unsafe in more recent times. Today, dwyle flonking is but a fond memory in the minds of those who partook in its charming absurdity. And with that, we've come to the end of our list of extinct sports. To recap, we've learned about some truly unique and bizarre sports that are no longer with us. We started our journey with fox tossing, a game that was once a grand pastime of European nobility. It was a spectacle of both agility and audacity, where participants would toss foxes into the air using slings, with the highest toss claiming victory. But as we've noted, this sport fell out of favor due to its inherent cruelty towards animals. Next, we dove into the depths of octopus wrestling, an underwater endeavor that was popular in the mid-20th century. Brave or perhaps foolhardy divers would grapple with large sea creatures in their natural habitat. The sport was measured by the weight of the octopus wrestled to the surface, but concerns for marine life and safety eventually led to its downfall. Then, we revved our engines for auto polo, a high-octane, danger-filled sport from the early days of the automobile. Imagine the elegance of polo combined with the speed and power of motor vehicles. Yes, it was as dangerous as it sounds, and that's ultimately why it disappeared from the sporting world. Finally, we took a spin around the field with Dwyle Flonking, a British pub game that involved a beer-soaked rag and a lot of dodging. It was a sport of laughter and camaraderie, but unfortunately, it didn't stand the test of time. Each of these sports in their own way reflected the times and cultures in which they were born. They may have faded into the annals of history, but they still serve as reminders of the diverse ways in which humans have sought competition, entertainment, and connection. So next time you think your favorite sport is strange, just remember, it could have been fox tossing or octopus wrestling. Thanks for watching, and see you in the next video.